Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. My name is Heather. I'm a homeschooling mom of 3 kids, elementary, middle, and high school age. If you're not subscribed, I would love for you to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you're notified of all of my future videos. Today, I'm going to be chatting a little bit about how I created a home management system that works for me as part of my goals progress for 2023. So let's get started. So a few months ago, I shared that I had completed the first half of one of my goals for 2023. And that goal was to create and implement a clear home management system. And the reason that I wanted to do that was to free up time so that I could do the things that I love. I wanted to be able to pursue my passions, and I knew that I was not as efficient with my time in managing my home as I could be. Now, if you've watched any of my videos over the past several years, you will know that we moved right before everything shut down in 2020. We closed on our house February 19th, and we moved all of our stuff in, and then we started hearing about things going on in the world, and that continued, and all of 2020 was just crazy, and that continued into 2021 and 2022. And so I never really felt settled in our new home because we put a lot of projects on the back burner and ended up shifting our priorities for a lot of different things. And then when I sat down to do my prep work for my goals for 2023, I really wanted to deep dive on home management. I knew that I wanted to get rid of a lot of things in our home. I knew that I needed to make some decisions about how we were utilizing spaces in our home. And I just hadn't done that. When we moved into this house, it was amazing because there was so much space. We moved from an 1800s New Englander old house with 0 closets to a home that had closets in every single room. And because of that, I was able to just tuck things away and just not deal with them. We had space in our basement for all of the homeschool stuff. We had space in our basement for all of the bins of extra things that I've kept over the years, and everything was kind of out of sight, out of mind. But that was starting to weigh on me, and I knew through my prep work, I really needed to focus on home management for 2023. It was time. I was ready to pull off the Band-Aid and just get started. So the first step in figuring out a home management strategy for me was actually the prep work that I go through every year in my power sheets. Now, if you've watched my goal videos this year, you will know that I did not use the power sheets for 2023. I did go through and do the prep work, and I spent a lot of time fleshing out all of the things that were important to me, figuring out what I needed to do, the steps that I needed to take, but I do use this process. This is the 2024 Power Sheets, which I think I am going to use this year. However, that right there is my goals notebook from 2023, and it is filled with so many ideas and reflections and such. But using the Power Sheets to really understand why I wanted the home management strategy, why I needed to shift things, why I wanted to get rid of some things that I've held on to for a long time was very, very helpful. So that was kind of the first step in even figuring out what direction I wanted to go in with home management, what I was comfortable with, what I didn't care about, what were the things that really made it difficult for me in the day-to-day, and what were the things that I could just let go of. And so I spent a lot of time fleshing that out. I know that not everybody loves to do that, but I really think that it's very valuable to sit down and figure out what you're okay with and what you're not okay with, because unless you know that, it's going to be really hard for you to come up with any sort of system, because what works for me may not work for you, or you may have a different threshold of visual clutter, for instance, that I do not like. I don't have any pictures hanging on my walls. I don't like to have appliances out on the counters. I don't like to have anything on the surfaces. I just like clear. I don't like to see any clutter at all, probably because we lived in a house for, 15 years with no closets, and so I had to see everything. So for me, for you, that may be something completely different. You may love to have all of the pretty things like in a farmhouse kitchen with open shelves and out on the counters and stuff, but that's not me. So figuring out what your threshold is very important first. Like I said, I do think that going through the prep work and the power sheets is very, very valuable for that. It really gives you direction and helps you understand where you want to go and the steps that are right for you. So after I figured out that I wanted to have a clear home management system, I had to kind of think about those things and look for tools to help me figure out a plan. And I think that's because I was so stuck in what I had done in our previous home. It was very challenging for me to figure out what the next steps were in this home. Everything was just a little bit different, and I needed to figure out how to manage this home without thinking like it was my last home, because it's not. And so coming up with some ideas and some strategies was challenging, so I looked for some tools to help me. Now, over the year, I adjusted these tools quite a bit, but I do want to share them with you because they were instrumental in helping me move forward. So the first thing was getting the Passionate Penny Pincher Home Planner. I purchased this, well, this is the 2024 version, which I got the 2024 version, and I have a whole walkthrough and review if you're interested. I got this planner because it has so many home management lists in it, and I am a list maker. I love working off of a list, and what really sold it for me was these weekly spreads, the lists that they have. So each day there are specific tasks that you are supposed to do. And then there are daily habits, morning and evening or afternoon, evening habits. And there is a weekly project to work on. So I saw these lists and I said, yes, that's exactly what I need. Now, for the first few months, I worked off of the digital printables because when you purchase the physical planner, it comes with the fourth quarter of the previous year. So this is the 2024 planner. When I purchased this, I got the fall of 2023. So I worked off of the printables for October, November, and December at the end of 2022, going into 2023. And I was trying to follow this exactly how it was written, and it was really challenging for me. And the reason is because I have already set habits and rhythms for some of these tasks. Some of them weren't applicable to us, and some of them I had never thought of before, and I was just having trouble implementing on the specific dates. And so the first 3 months of 2023, I was going through all of these tasks and all of these projects and kind of tweaking them to make them work for me and to see what other things I actually needed to have on this list that were not on the list. And so I also used some free resources from Clean Mama. It made me think more about daily tasks. It led me back to the Fly Lady system, which I had heard about, gosh, I think maybe in 2007. And it made me think there are particular tasks that I need to do every day that are not on a list, but I need them to become a habit. What are those things? What are my pain points, and what can I partner them with in order to make sure that they are getting done? And so going through the free printables from Clean Mama about her kind of home management system helped me to come up with the 4 things that I really need to do every day to make sure that I'm feeling good about my home. And so that is clearing up my floors, vacuuming, cleaning off the surfaces, and then cleaning off my office desk. Now, am I perfect with those things? No, I'm absolutely not perfect with those things, but it was a really good starting place for me. And so I started to implement those daily habits, I think back in March, and really got into a good rhythm of getting those things done every day. I have to vacuum my floors every day anyways. I've said this many times. We have a Great Pyrenees. We have dark, hard floors that pretty much I can vacuum at 9 a.m. and at 9:30 it looks like I have not vacuumed. So Coupled with my kids running in and out of the house all day, every day, the floors get dirty, and so I just need to stay on top of vacuuming. In order to vacuum, I need to clear the floors. It's very easy for my kids to get out toys, my dog to get out toys, to have books and notebooks and homeschool stuff and art supplies and computers and all kinds of things on the floors. Because we homeschool, my kids don't like to sit at desks or a table. They prefer to do school on the floor or on the couch. And so I have to clear all of that stuff up in order to vacuum. So those are coupled together. And then clearing off the surfaces and my office desk. Again, that's just because I do not like visual clutter. My office is not great because I can kind of shut the door and everything. I'm not really concerned about what's going on in here. I do try to keep things pretty cleared, but there are seasons, like this past season, I have been trying to go through my office closet and get rid of old things that I do not need, moving some memory stuff into new bins or up into my master bedroom closet. But that was really kind of the foundation for me to get into a good home management system, was to pick these daily tasks that I could work on. And coupled with that, I needed to go through and declutter and de-own my house. And when I say de-own, this is a concept that I heard about from Brooke McAllery. She used to run a podcast. I will leave a link in the description box. She had a book called Slow that talked about de-owning, and I had never really considered that. I'm great at decluttering. I love to get rid of stuff. It's fun for me. I like to go through and just get rid of things. But what she talks about is once you get rid of things, you don't want to then welcome new things into your home. And I think that that can be incredibly challenging, especially with kids, because you have family that wants to give things around the holidays especially, and that can become overwhelming because you get all of this new stuff that you don't necessarily want and you don't know what to do with. So de-owning is a concept that I have been trying to implement for many years. I've written about it over on my website many times, many times. But it was something that I was kind of thinking about this year. So that was the other side of my home management system, figuring out what I could get rid of, what I could let go of, what I didn't need in our home. Some of the things that I had were things that we needed for our previous house, things like metal shelving because we had no closets, so I could put kids' clothes on. I have a lot of bins and baskets that I don't necessarily need now, but I just kept because, well, you might need a basket someday, right? So some of that stuff, even though it was put away, it was still weighing on me because I knew that I had this stuff and it was just like sitting in a closet or in the basement. And so letting go of a lot of that stuff was very freeing to me. So that was kind of the other side of creating this new home management system, was letting go of a lot of stuff that was weighing me down. That stuff may not seem like it's weighing you down, but it does, and it kind of just makes things a little bit harder to manage. So letting go of a lot of that was very helpful. I'm not finished with decluttering. I've decluttered most of the things that are easy. We still have a bunch of furniture that I want to get rid of, and I'm trying to figure out how to get rid of it. It's been a little bit more challenging to get rid of furniture. And then I still have all of our memory boxes and homeschool bins that I need to get rid of. That is not going to happen this year. That's going to be pushed ahead to 2024. So making sure that I am decluttering and de-owning and getting rid of things, as well as implementing new systems to take care of the house that we have now instead of thinking of the house that we used to live in, has been good. But having the framework at the beginning of the year where I went through and listed out what I wanted our home management system to look like, why I wanted a specific home management system, like my pain points and the adjustments that I wanted to make, I was able to then find tools to help support that. And then through those tools, like the home planner from Passionate Penny Pincher and the Clean Mama printables and just other random books, I have a bunch of home books like for cleaning and things like that that are enjoyable to me. Some from A Bowl Full of Lemons. I'll leave links for all of this stuff in the description box. I don't have them with me. They're on my other shelves in my living room, so I should have grabbed them, um, but I don't have them right here. So understanding what I needed my home management system to look like was one thing. Understanding what I was okay with sliding was another thing. And kind of just what was my threshold for the amount of work that I wanted to do. It took me a little bit of time, and I think that that's normal. It took me about 9 months really to figure out exactly what I wanted my system to be. And then I was able to start implementing things with my kids as well. So I can give out tasks to them so that I'm not having to do all of the things. Now, my kids are really great about pitching in. They have their own chores that they do. One of the things that I was able to do was take a lot of these projects, these daily tasks, and put them on a calendar for my kids. So I would just print out a Google Cal. Each kid has a color, and each day, Monday through Friday, they have a specific chore that they are doing. Whether it is, Lucy wiping down the baseboards or the windowsills, or Jack vacuuming the basement, or Emma cleaning the upstairs bathroom. Having those tasks listed out so that they can check them off, and understanding when I need those things done so that we're all working together on specific tasks and it's freeing up my time, was very helpful. Now, because we're home way more often than than public school families are, it's a little bit more challenging to keep things neat and tidy. Our house is never going to be immaculate, and I have to accept that. You kind of have to understand what season of life you're in. And I know that we're in the season of life where my kids are in and out of the house. I have a giant dog. We homeschool, so there are books everywhere, every day. And managing my expectations, it takes a little bit of time. But I think that the biggest help was really to be able to go through this planner and make it my own, and understand the things that are very important to me and the things that I can just let go of. So that was really, really helpful. The next step is just to make sure that you are creating these habits. Habit stacking is so, so good for home management systems, because you kind of have a group of tasks that you do together and it just works. So when I'm cleaning the kitchen, I don't just put away the dishes. I put away the dishes and I put the dirty dishes in the dishwasher, and I clean the counters and I vacuum. So, it's all combined together. When I'm doing one thing, it just leads me to the next thing. And it did take me a little while to figure out what works best for my family. I do have another tool that I think is going to continue to help me fine-tune my home management system to make sure that it's running as efficiently as possible, because the second part of my home management goal was to free up time so that I could pursue my passions and do the things that I love. And if I'm not efficient with my time, then I am leaving time on the table. And time is a resource that we can never get more of. That is a finite resource. We only have as much time as we have. There is no making more time. You cannot make time. You can only take time for the things that you find important. So again, understanding the things that I find most valuable to get done and the places where I can let things slide is very important. This habit workbook is going to be instrumental for me for next year to just tighten up some of the rhythms that I have. Now, I know all of the things that I need to get done, and I have really taken the time to flesh out all of those ideas. And I think that's probably my biggest tip. Sit down and really understand what you want. What is the purpose of your home management routine? Why do you want to have this? Why are these things important to you? Is it just because you think you ought to be doing these things? Or is there some deeper impact? Is it something, when you may have people that just randomly show up at your house to hang out, and you want to make sure that you don't have yesterday's dinner dishes still on the counter. Or it could be that your kids get a little more overwhelmed if there's so much visual clutter, or you get overwhelmed when there's visual clutter. That is my case. When there's a lot of stuff all over the counters and all over like our dining room table and stuff, it bothers me a lot. And so I know that I need to mitigate that and have systems in place to make sure that the surfaces do not get piled up. And so working with my family is part of that, but then also having it as a daily task to just go through and clear off the tables. If I'm making sure that I'm doing that daily, it's not as overwhelming because there's not as much stuff. It's not every single thing that could possibly be on the table is on the table. It's only a few things that just need to be put away. And that makes life a little bit easier for me. Now, is everything perfect? Absolutely not. There are still days when I'm just like, are you kidding me? You see that this table is clear. Why are you putting something here instead of putting it up in your room? But those are just general life challenges of being a parent, and you just kind of have to work through them. But coming up with this system and understanding what works for me has been so helpful. It gives me more pride in my home. It gives me a feeling of accomplishment, and it also just makes me happier to have this system in place. And then at the end of the day, now I can say, oh, well, I don't have to keep cleaning. I don't have to keep decluttering because I've already done that. I've stopped bringing the new stuff into my home. I've gotten rid of the things that I don't need anymore. And I have this daily routine that I can follow easily, and I've grouped these tasks together at specific times in the day. So I can sit down and knit in the afternoon, or I can read, or I can have a cup of tea, or spend more time discussing current events with my kids, or working on a passion project with them or on my own. And that is the whole purpose of creating this home management system. The reason that I created a home management system was not because I wanted a super clean house. That is a nice byproduct of having a home management system. But I wanted the home management system to free up time to do the things that I love to do, because I don't want to constantly be cleaning up after everyone or moving things from place to place. That's not what I want to do. So that's kind of my home management system at a glance. It's not super in depth, but if you are looking for specific tools, I definitely recommend that Passionate Penny Pincher Home Planner. If you don't want to use the planner as a planner, I do not use it as a planner. I only use it for the checklists. You can get the digital version. I think it's like $16 or $17 for the digital version, which you can either use on an iPad or you can print out the different lists to work off of. I just like to be able to have something all bound together that I can check off each day. I definitely recommend that, and I definitely recommend the Clean Mama free printables on kind of her strategy for each day of the week, what her projects are, and then picking a few tasks that you want to manage daily. Now, obviously, I do a lot more daily than just floors, vacuum, surfaces, and office desk. But those 4 things, if I do those 4 things every day, I feel a lot better. I'm still making meals, I'm still doing the dishes, I'm still, washing the table and washing the counters, I'm still doing laundry. But those things I don't need to write down on a list because I am automatically doing them. And even though I'm automatically vacuuming every day, adding that to my 4 daily tasks really prompts me to make sure that I'm doing the other things. It's that habit stacking that I talked about. And this habit workbook goes through habit stacking a lot. And then the other resource that I would recommend is Atomic Habits by James Clear. I read this book years ago, and it's a reread for me almost every year. It has so much great information in it. Very goal-oriented, but I think that it's very applicable to homeschooling and to home management as well, because you can take these ideas and really interpret them into the specific area of your life that you need to create those habits in. So I definitely recommend this book as well. So I hope that this was helpful to you and maybe gave you some ideas of how to create a home management system in your own home. Like I said at the beginning, nobody is going to have the same home management system, because what I value in my home and home management system is going to be very different for you. We live in different homes, we have different priorities, and that is totally okay. If you're looking for more help and encouragement, I would love for you to come over and join my membership community. We have been going over how to live a life of intention all of this month, and there's been a lot about habits and decision making and really making intentional choices, what our core truths are, all kinds of really good stuff. And as we move through the fall, we'll be concentrating on goals for 2024. So I would love for you to come over if you need more help creating your own home management system. If you think that's something that you want to work on next year, I'll definitely have more tips over in my membership community. But again, thank you so much for watching. If you have questions about anything that I talked about, please let me know in the comments, or you can email me. My contact form is always in the description box. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks, guys. Bye.